The night was damp and icy when Joaume, a tattered beggar forgotten by society, found refuge in the abandoned old mansion. His dull eyes scanned the ruined mansion's dark corners, where dozens of macabre tales were whispered by townsfolk. None dared approach the structure, where rumors of ancient curses echoed like the moans of tormented souls. The bricks, greened by humidity, seemed to exhale a stench of rot and death, an environment any sane person would flee terrified. Joaume, however, feared neither the house's whispers nor the shadows dancing on peeling walls. His only concern was finding a marginally dry spot to rest bones weary from a lifetime of hardship. Darkness devoured every inch of the morbid space, revealing sinister details that made Joaume shudder involuntarily. Thick cobwebs shrouded corners, forming patterns resembling ancient demonic symbols. A constant creak of rotting timber betrayed unseen movements, as if indescribable creatures inhabited every room of the cursed structure. Shattered, dust-cloaked furniture witnessed years of abandonment and secrets buried in damp walls. A supernatural cold began enveloping Joaume, making his muscles tremble inexplicably. Whispers initially imperceptible grew clearer, spectral voices from beyond human comprehension. The mold's smell mingled with a metallic odor of dried blood, seemingly seeped into every fiber of that rotted environment. Joaume tried settling on the remains of a destroyed mattress, sensing minutest movements around him. His calloused hands shook uncontrollably, scratching the threadbare fabrics partially covering him. A dry sound nearby made his eyes strain wide in absolute blackness, desperate to catch suspicious motion. Sounds seemed to circle him, composing a macabre symphony of spectral whispers and groans. The temperature plummeted violently, making his teeth chatter beyond control. The entity's details sharpened, revealing blasphemous anatomy, defying human logic. Its wings unfolded and refolded at impossible angles, movements so nauseating Joaume felt his guts churn. Putrid razor claws scratched the floor, leaving trails of greenish blood. Sulfur and rotting flesh stenches invaded Joaume's nostrils, making his entire body tremble with primeval terror. His pupils dilated, realizing not one, but multiple specters now encircled him. The spirits moved with supernatural speed, whispering words in ancient, incomprehensible tongues. The spirits' first assault was violent and pitiless, tearing Joaume's flesh with spectral claws like honed crystal blades. His pain screams echoed through the derelict house, merging with the entity's unearthly sounds. Patches of skin were ripped off with brutality, transcending understanding, exposing shredded muscles and tendons beneath a mist of blood and supernatural energy. The spirits laughed gutturally, a sound mingling sadistic pleasure with insatiable torment thirst. Joaume felt every inch of his body being destroyed, yet something denied him unconsciousness. His viscera began spilling out as the creatures danced their macabre destruction rite. The brutality exceeded human horror thresholds. Spirits pierced organs in demonic torture rituals. Each wound produced a visceral squelch, echoing through decayed rooms. Shattered bone fragments mingled with black blood and oozing green sludge. The entities seemed to suck not just flesh, but Joaume's soul essence itself, wrenching screams blending physical agony and psychological terror. His now disfigured eyes witnessed his own mutilation helplessly. By the second, Joaume was shredded into unrecognizable meat and bone. The specters advanced in a macabre destruction dance, tearing Joaume's body parts with surgical sadism. Every movement maximized suffering, muscles and nerves ripped to prolong agony. Thick black blood-smeared walls, forming demonic symbols that seemed self-animated. Joaume's mouth gaped in silent scream, vocal cords too mangled for sound. The entities sucked not just flesh but life force, consuming his existence in ancient torture rites. Bones became mutilation tools, stabbing Joaume's own flesh anew. Joan's transformation completed. His body bore no recognizable human form. Spirits breached his ribcage, wrenching ribs immediately reused as torture instruments. Viscera hung like red-black ropes, stretched in physics-defying contortions. The floor swam in thick blood and body fragments, an absolute horror landscape. The demonic entities seemed to savor every moan, every muscle shred, every drop of suffering wrenched from the decomposing body. Joan's soul was slowly consumed piece by piece in a torment transcending human pain thresholds. The spirits initiated deeper mutilation, penetrating Joan's spiritual essence. His inner dimensions tore open, revealing suffering layers beyond physical reality. Each new wound produced horror sounds echoing beyond materiality, a silent scream ripping existence's fabric. Demonic entities extracted soul fragments, turning them into liquid, corrupted matter. Joan was no longer human, but decomposing energy mass consumed by incomprehensible forces. The house trembled from the ritual's intensity, walls bleeding and twisting in symbiosis with the body's agony. Joan's dissolution reached indescribable horror levels. Body and spirit dimensions shattered completely. Spirits pierced each existence layer, transforming his essence into black, putrid ooze dripping through rotten floorboards. Bone-crunching sounds mixed with spectral shrieks surpassing human pain concepts. His consciousness shredded to subatomic fragments, each piece devoured by demonic destruction thirst. The house seemed to suck his life force, creating a portal between physicality and absolute torment realms. Each existent second became eternity of unspeakable suffering. Dawn approached as the destruction ritual continued. Spirits now dragged Joan's mutilated remains into a circle of symbols etched on the floor. Black blood bubbled in the inscriptions, opening a dimensional portal with fabric-ripping sounds. A guttural voice emerged from depths, speaking forbidden tongues dating to creation's dawn. "This is merely the first," boomed the primary entity, revealing grander designs for the cursed house. Joan's lingering consciousness shreds witnessed indescribable horrors beyond the portal, deformed beings in eternal fire landscapes. A colossal, grotesque figure emerged, anatomy fusing human features with bestial, demonic elements. Its 7 heads spoke dissonant choruses, while black claws held Joan's remnants as trophies. Air saturated with burned flesh and sulfur stench as floorboards melted like wax. The entity revealed the house stood on an ancient temple to forbidden deities, a fragile dimensional junction. Lesser spirits bowed devotionally as the demonic creature announced its return to the living world. Distant screams echoed through the portal, thousands of eternally tortured souls in an agony symphony. The main entity pulled Joan's last consciousness shreds through the opening, hurling him into a hellscape of fire lakes and bone mountains. Other creatures awaited him, torture implements of impossible materials prepared specifically for his eternal suffering. Joan's consciousness, preserved solely to maximize torment, understood this was his destiny, a pawn in demonic games beyond human comprehension. At daybreak, neighbors noted atmospheric changes at the cursed house. A red mist hung over the roof, while indecipherable sounds emanated from broken windows. Something fundamentally evil had awakened. Joan was merely the catalyst. Unexplained disappearances began occurring regionally in subsequent weeks. Authorities investigated the abandoned house, finding inexplicable symbols and dried stains. The detective felt chest tightness entering, a sense of being watched by something ancient and malicious. Nights later, another homeless man sought refuge there, drawn by unexplainable compulsion. Entities waited patiently in shadows, ready to recommence their macabre ritual. The portal remained ajar, a tenuous interworld passage strengthening with each sacrifice. Joan's soul, now fully transformed and corrupted, would become bait for new victims. His consciousness shreds would witness each new torment, multiplying his suffering through others' pain. The horror cycle had merely begun. The cursed house became a beacon for forces beyond human grasp, an anchor for entities planning full invasion of the living world. Juon wasn't randomly chosen. His soul bore an ancient mark linking him to that place for generations. The demonic entities whispered his new purpose in hell's depths. You shall be our herald, our call in the darkness. As his essence dissolved into eternity's torment, Juon understood the terrible truth. He'd always belonged to that place, those creatures, that inescapable fate. Future victims would suffer more brutally as the permanently open portal admitted increasingly powerful sadistic entities. The spirits had tasted mortal flesh again after centuries of confinement. Their thirst was unquenchable. The house pulsed with malice, visible even to the insensitive, yet it kept drawing the fate-marked. Each sacrifice fortified the dimensional connection, hastening the awakening of the prime entity, a being whose true name was forgotten by humanity for good reason. Locals began sharing nightmares, visions of the house devouring victims in sanity-shattering blood rituals. Some awoke with inexplicable body marks resembling symbols on the cursed walls. An aged priest, versed in occult lore, recognized signs of unfolding demonic awakening. Authorities dismissed his warnings as senile superstition, but he knew time was running out. Juon's sacrifice had triggered catastrophic events, threatening not just the city, but reality itself. In the infernal dimension, Juon's remnants had become something entirely different, a hybrid entity, part human, part demon, fueled by decades of torment, concentrated into eternal suffering moments. His twisted consciousness still carried human memory fragments, intensifying his agony. Prime entities sculpted him like clay into perfect bait for new souls. His voice, now a spectral whisper, would draw the next unfortunate souls to their doom. The cycle would continue endlessly. Each sacrifice strengthened the portal until the prophesied rupture between worlds. The cursed house would stand as a monument to horror, a reality scar where absolute evil entered our world. In hell's depths, what was once Juon waited patiently, his eternal suffering merely a note in the horror symphony about to swallow humanity whole.